In this video, let's talk about destination data flow adapters, or data flow destination adapters, however you want to call those. Notice that from a previous video, I've got an OLEDB data source here, and as you can see, I'm looking at the Human Resources Employee table, but I need a destination for this, okay? There's a lot of different ways to go about this. Notice, just like my source assistant, I have a destination assistant once I'm in a data flow. So from the control flow surface, I dropped a data flow task out here, and then if I go to data flow and I look at that data flow task, there's my OLEDB data source, and now I can just drag a destination assistant out here, and then that's going to pop up and it's going to say, what are you trying to connect to? Well, actually I'm trying to connect to a flat file data source, and I don't see anything here, and I don't have a flat file connection here. But notice I could do SQL, Excel, or Oracle. So what I can do is go down here into my other destinations, and you're going to notice in this list there's quite a few more options than there are in the sources. Notice some of these, very interesting. Just kind of stick these kind of back there in your toolkit and think about them later when you need to pull them out. Here is a data reader destination, and that is an ADO.NET data reader. And if you're familiar with ADO.NET, you know how flexible and fast a data reader can be. And so I can grab data from this data source, from that table out there. I can't remember which one I was in. I'll go take a look right quick. Notice I was coming from the Human Resources Employee table, and I could move that into a data reader and then use it in a script task. I could also move it into a flat file, which is what we're going to do in just a moment. Notice I could move it into a regular ADO record set. And so then I could manipulate it using ADO, the old standard ADO. But what I want to do here is show you, if I click on flat file destination and drag that on, you will notice that I can now drag the OLEDB data source down here and connect it. And then I can right click the flat file destination and click edit. Now I do want you to understand one thing. I don't have a connection manager set up for a flat file, so I'll have to do that. Notice I can tell it it's going to be delimited. I'll just take that, and then I am going to actually tell it where this thing is located. All right, and then notice I don't have an OK here. Well, I can browse out and I can say, you know, on the desktop, and I'm just going to put long data file, and I'll click open, and you'll notice I got my OK here and I'm ready to go. Now there are times, I want you to see something here, there are times that you won't get that OK, and notice I can go out here and I can see my mappings, and I may not see that, okay, because as you well know, that table, that long DF flat file, does not exist out here yet on the desktop. So from time to time you may have some problems working with some things, and I want to show you something here. If I right click on this and go to Show Advanced Editor and look at component properties, there's one out here called Validate External Metadata, and it is set to true right now. Well, if you will turn that to false, okay, it will prevent you a lot of times from trying to validate against an external data source until runtime. And this is great, especially when you're trying to go from a table to a table. The table doesn't exist yet. It's going to be created as part of your package. Then that prevents it from trying to look at it and validate metadata and so forth. And it just kind of gives you a free pass. You can go by that. So watch for that. So the flat file destination is out there and it's ready to go. But again, same deal as we talked about with the source. I can start from the destination assistant, and let me kill this right quick. I'll delete this out. Notice I've got my connection manager here. If I use the destination assistant now, it will pop up there, and I'm still not going to see that flat file. And that gets a little bit confusing sometimes, okay? So don't let that throw you. If you're going to flat file, the best way is to come over here from other sources and just drag that on, okay? Notice if I try to work with this thing and configure it without my columns connected, it's telling you that I don't have these input columns, and all I need to do is connect these. Whoop, let me cancel that. connect these, and now I can edit and configure these things and actually map my columns because I have that constraint between them now. Okay, so anyway, destinations, same deal as before. You can use the destination assistant. I usually find it easier just to go into my destinations and grab them. If I like flat file and I'm going to use it a lot, I can just move it to favorites, and then I can just stay right up here and drag it on whenever I need it in my data flows. So anyway, pretty quick look at your data flow destination adapters, and I would strongly suggest you spend the time to maybe go out to Microsoft's site and read some more details on each one of these. Look at these things in some samples. A lot of really cool stuff going on out here with all these destinations.